How's it going, everyone? Today we are looking at the new update for 76. We're looking at Atlantic City, the Boardwalk Paradise update. Alongside Season 15, we got some goodies that we're going to be looking forward to. As they're calling out, we got our new area, new quests, NPCs, rewards, the season, and much more to the game. I know this update is bringing a bunch of people back to the game. I see a lot of people checking it out, very happy with it. This is actually a part 1 of 2. We'll probably get more into that later, but so far, so good. As we're kicking off the update highlights, they're calling off Atlantic City, the Boardwalk Paradise. Visit the sites of the exciting Atlantic City Boardwalk, meet 3 new factions, complete 2 new expeditions, earn rewards, and face off against new foes. Season 15, the big score, we're going all in with this season's rewards that include new camp items, armor paints, and more. Very similar to what we've seen in previous seasons, but a lot of goodies themed around the boardwalk, the casinos, and all that. Starting loadouts, so for those that are newer to the game, whether you're playing 76 for the first time or working on your 3rd or even 4th character, hey Bethesda, give us more character slots. Shut up and take my money.
Shut up and take my money.
Saying you can skip the introduction and jump right into level 20. You can even choose a new starting perk, card loadouts, complete with various resources to get you on your way. I think that's pretty good. Kind of on the surface, me personally, I'd rather have people struggle the way we did when we started the game, but there's definitely a lot of things geared towards helping newer players, not just the starting loadouts. We recently had an update that brought the kind of donation box in front of 76 for new players to kind of take advantage of, see if they can pick up some goodies to help them on their start. And now we have the starting loadouts again, taking you level 20. Definitely good for the new players. Early game improvements. The forest region has received numerous updates. From new points of interest, a vendor at the Gilman Lumber Mill, rare legendary creatures spawns, and more. So moving on down to Welcome to Atlantic City. They're calling out this new area that we'll be able to go over there, take advantage of the new expeditions, the enemy groups, and much more. Of those 2 new expeditions, we're looking at tax evasion and the most sensational game. With tax evasion, we're going to be meeting Billy Beltbuckle, the mafia's accountant. You're quickly going to find out that if you're not there to help him, well, he might not make it for that long. We also have the most sensational game. I personally haven't jumped into either of these yet. I'm very excited to jump in with the community and check them out. I've seen a couple of, let's say, streams and people checking out the new update, and very excited for it. I think they definitely did a good job, at least for the tax evasion. I'm not sure if the starting area is different, but the tax evasion starting area, it looked very detailed. I was kind of intrigued by the environment. Honestly, it looked like a nuclear winter map, for those that know what nuclear winter is, with all the different kind of elevations, the catwalks, little bridges, and things that I'm just looking at it thinking, wow, that would have been great if we had that back when nuclear winter was a thing. But enough of that. They're talking about the new locations, the Napolitan Casino and the Boardwalk. For the casino, they're saying try your luck, win big at various games as roulette and lucky dice. Very excited to be adding various games that we're seeing in the casino to our own camps. Speaking of camps, there's a new kind of casino shelter. We're probably going to have to pick that up and see what we can do in terms of creating our own little casino for people to check out in Appalachia. For the Boardwalk, saying home of the showman, the Boardwalk offers deadly entertainment and famous underwater aquarium of the Atlantic. We're just talking about the showmen, but they are not the only factions. You also have the municipal government and the family. The showman is comprised of performers and entertainers, saying of all kinds who provide entertainment for the city. They are obsessed with self-actualization and will go to dangerous or even fatal lengths to achieve it. For the government, these hard-working citizens keep the day-to-day of Atlantic City running, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty to collect taxes. And then finally, we got the family, based out of the casino quarter. These mobsters are in charge of vice, chems, and gambling in the city. We're not going to have new factions and new NPCs without some new enemies. We also have the Overgrown and the Lesser Devil. The Overgrown is chaotic and mysterious. Or sorry, they are chaotic and mysterious. These nature-based enemies have only one mission in mind: spread. So very similar to, I guess, even the Scorched Plague, kind of overwhelming Appalachia little by little. Kind of that hive mind thing. Curious to see if it's going to be something similar in a different location. So that's the Overgrown. And then we have the Lesser Devil, a new predatory cryptid that hunts in packs and uses both powerful melee attacks and projectiles. So if we have the Lesser Devil now, and this is supposed to be loosely based off of the Jersey Devil, will we have a full-fledged Jersey Devil? I'm curious. Unless this is the equivalent without calling it straight out the Jersey Devil. New and improved locations. Mentioning earlier that the Gilman Lumber Mill received kind of an update saying the responders have taken over the lumber mill and set up a new vendor carrying items and plans helpful for new adventurers. And factions. We've added various new points of interest associated with different factions in the forest area and a new daily quest in the region to help introduce you to them. So I kind of like this. It's like every so many updates we actually receive something faction based, something that, you know, takes a location on the map and then either completely revitalizes it, adds some, it could be anything, it could be decorations, furniture, like actually moving NPCs in. Quick couple of examples, look at Nuka World, how the Ash Heap was kind of barren in that little section, but very lively. A lot of different things were added there. The 3 events, the Titan has like the boss event. There's other locations that didn't have as big of an update. I mean, if you want to consider big updates, the Refuge, still the White Spring, how that was transformed, kind of all these people moving back. Responders, definitely, I think they're going to be taking over, and it's, what I mean by that is we're seeing a lot of responders pop up in different areas. It's not just the White Springs and some of the other areas you might find around the map, but the way I'm looking at it is if they keep revisiting, let's say, certain factions, what about the other factions? So does that mean maybe in a future update we'll actually see more on the other factions in the game, whether it's, you know, Foundation or Crater kind of expanding their hold on the land, and kind of to tie that all back in, this game, you know, so many years later, it's very interesting to see little by little more and more NPCs revisiting Appalachia, and now we actually have the opportunity to head over to Atlantic City. So definitely going to be keeping an eye out in the forest area to see what else we got going on there, and then that's going to impact a lot of the earlier game players, mid-game players, I imagine, because as you're browsing that forest area, these little points of interest, I imagine, could have their own rewards, and just little things to take advantage of, especially if you're newer to the game. But we're going to have to go check it out for ourselves. The Weather Control Station, very happy with this one. Saying in case you missed it, we added weather control stations for camps. And I'll mention this right away. I'm pretty sure we were not supposed to get the snow weather control station until I think next year or something like that. But it was a Christmas miracle. We got it just in time for the holidays. I'll be mentioning more on that towards the end of the video. So after we go through the patch notes, keep an eye out. I'll jump into a world. I'll go check out the weather control stations, and I'll place them, at least the snow one, at my camp for people to check out. And it's saying when the weather control station is placed, it will change the weather in the radius of your camp. Players who visit your camp can also see the weather. Perfect for photo ops and added ambiance. I am very happy with that. I personally I'm not worried that it takes a while to kick on or anything like that. I'm just a little bummed that it takes a little bit to start kicking up. I almost would love it if somebody, as soon as they were within render range or spawning at your camp, already had the weather effect. But that's just a minor thing. Maybe they can update that later on. So you basically just place that at your camp, and then you'll watch the weather change before your eyes. It is mentioning that you can claim the clear one for free in the Atomic Shop. You will earn the Atlantic City Boardwalk one from the Scoreboard. And like I mentioned, we did get the snow one in the Atomic Shop. We'll say early. We'll say that was our early Christmas present. Now for the Season 15 itself, the big score. We're going all in with this season's rewards, bringing new casino-themed camp items, weapons, armor paints, and more. Very excited for that. New camp items, live like a high roller, with new items like the marble floor and foundations, the marble staircase, heart-shaped bed, and pool hall rack. Definitely utilize some of those. Armor paints, this is where it's not necessarily as much for me, but typical seasonal claims. You're going to be able to claim a few different power armor paints. They're mentioning the new jackpot armor paints for T45 Hellcat. We'll see if there's any others for us to claim. Additional design changes and improvements. So they refined backpacks a little bit more. Again, catering to the earlier players, the new players of the game. They're saying when leaving the vault, players will be granted the new Vault Tech Survival Backpack. And then it's saying the recipe has been moved from the Overseer's Cache in Morgantown to the cache at the Overseer's Camp near the Wayward. So a lot quicker to get that. They're basically saying, okay, let's give you just a little bit extra weight coming out, and then you can upgrade it as you get closer. And then obviously there's the mods and other things that you can do for the additional carry weight. But again, catering all that towards helping the new players just leaving the vault. And it's also saying the new lumber mill vendor, June, sells the Vault Tech starter backpack recipe. Okay, noted. So I guess for us that have been playing the game already and didn't receive that, if you wanted to go back and claim it, and I'm very curious to see what it looks like too, I guess we would go visit June Seaver. For perks, single rank perk cards will now appear in perk card packs, including animated variant cards. I'm having a hard time remembering which cards are only like one rank. Off the top of my head, I can't really think, but I guess I get the point. There's some that it's just one and done. I'm not sure if Cannibal's a one and done. There may be a few that people use that are only rank 1, and then you're only able to, I guess, claim them outside of perk card packs, if I'm understanding that correctly. They're also saying that they've adjusted the limit of perk card packs you can open to 100 at once. So if you got all those perk card packs you haven't claimed yet, that's a lot. What is that, 500 levels without counting any seasonal claims? Because you get, what, a perk card pack every 5? Something like that? Who's leveling up 500 times and not claiming 100? What? Leave West Tech with a few nuka grenades? I don't know. Alright, UI, user interface. A new quest tracker has been added to streamline quest tracking. It can be customized and disabled from the settings menu. Very curious to see what that's about. Sometimes I feel like the quest tracker a little wonky. If you can customize it, disable it, and all that, I'm curious to see if that'll help. For some additional changes, level boost. Players can choose to jump to level 20 upon exiting the vault. Mentioning this, similar to the other things, there's a lot of stuff that they're doing to cater to new players, kind of get them into the game, get the ball rolling, and get, let's say again, the newer players joining the mid-end game players in different things, kind of speeding up that process, which I can appreciate, but again, maybe it's just me, I prefer the new players struggle as we did. Here's level 20, here's a backpack, here's a god roll, you know. There you go, be on your way. Alright, loadouts. When creating a character, there are now pre-made loadouts. And then these loadouts include weapons, munitions, resources, and more. So definitely pick the one that suits your playstyle. There's a few other additional changes in here that I'm just going to skim through. Definitely check out the patch notes for yourself. I'll make sure the patch notes link is in the description. We'll mention enemies. We've made various balance changes to lower level enemies and creatures and adjusted the health value for various enemy groups that appear in events. After just watching a couple of people on the game today, I've heard that people find themselves not dying as quickly, killing certain enemies a little quicker, but I also imagine a lot of those people are fighting higher level enemies, so I'm not sure if that was a balance across the board. We'll have to see. Adjusted damage received by players from non-physical NPC weapons. Interesting. Maybe that's actually directly where people aren't dying as much. Legendary creatures. So excited for this. Legendary creatures will now always drop a legendary item of a matching rank. For the longest time, the ongoing joke was that 3-star dropped a 1-star, and if it could drop a no-star, it would, which actually has happened, but that's a side story. Now if you're fighting a 3-star, you're getting a 3-star. So that means when we're hanging out on stream and we're doing an encrypted just about every single stream at least once, that encrypted is going to give us a 3-star drop. The queen that we fight is also going to give us a 3-star drop. All the other legis that you're able to find, very happy for that. Eviction notice is going to be great. All those legis that pop up, we'll just hope that they're a good mixture of 2 and 3 stars. So that's going to be really good. A lot of script in our near future. Again, talking about the donation boxes earlier, they're saying we've added donation boxes at locations with free fast travel. If I remember correctly, is that Foundation, Crater, and Fort Atlas? Something like that. And I guess Vault 76 counts as the 4th one. I'm actually surprised White Springs Station isn't just a free fast travel. I'm not sure if the White Springs Mall has a free... I'm not sure, but all those locations, if they are free, should have donation boxes. And then it's saying random rare legendary creatures can now spawn in the forest region. I'm not sure if that means like a sheep squatch or something will just be randomly terrorizing people in the forest. We're gonna have to wait to see if there's some horror stories that we're hearing. Bug fixes, there's a few different things that they have updated. Collectrons, the Red Rocket Collectron now correctly uses the same resources listed as other Collectrons. Prefabs, we've increased the build limit. Hold on now. We've increased the build limit so players can build both the Pittsburgh Palace and Hunter's Lodge. I'm confused on how I'm reading this. Somebody's going to have to translate. Because I'm just reading the first so many words. We've increased the build limit. Just stop there, please. So players can build the both. I guess, honestly, that's probably not what they mean. It probably means that both of those maybe cost less. I'm not sure. Somebody's going to have to correct me on that. For interface, a few different things here. The nurse's outfit has been renamed to Guinevere's nurse hat and Guinevere's nurse outfit. Interesting. That one, for whatever reason, stood out. Subtitles will no longer occasionally overlap with other subtitles. Perks, updated the description on the inspirational perk to specify that you need to be in a party with other players. Herd mentality debuff now displays correctly even when not in a group. And then skins, fix the mind skin not appearing properly on the ultrasight Gatling. Again, as I'm like skimming through some of these, if I go over any, if there's something I didn't directly call out, be sure to check out the patch notes. For items, crafting the replica Grognax X, mounted head plans, and previously earned nuclear winter reward paints and skins can now be crafted again. Noted, we were talking about nuclear winter earlier. Here we are again. For mods, the scout armors can now be returned to standard after using the miscellaneous mods to modify them. Oh, I guess that probably meant if you put on whatever, dense, buttressed, or something like that, maybe you were kind of stuck with that, unless you had a different mod, but now I guess you could just make a standard. So I guess if you're trying to cut weight, stash them, whatever. Gameplay. Emotes. Fix an issue where the camera might move to a different angle when beginning an emote in third-person view. I feel like I've had that, and then afterwards the camera gets stuck, and you have to emote one more time to fix it. If not, your character is like running in the opposite direction of where your camera is facing, if that makes sense. I've had that happen a few times. I'm not sure if that helps. Enemies, throwing weapons. Throwing weapons once again kill resilient enemies. A few weeks back, I did Line in the Sand, and I made over 30 throwing knives. And at the very last round, where we're just kind of waiting for the timer to finish, the Scorch Beast is flying around. I threw so many knives, and I'm like, I didn't see a hit marker, but I was so confident that I had hit it. To the point where afterwards, when it died, I had picked up like 7 throwing knives. So I don't know if I hit it successfully 7 times. We'll say we did, considering that's what I looted. Had no idea that was an issue, but very glad that I won't be wasting any more throwing knives like that. For statuses, XL, Irradiated, and Glowing Blood packs no longer stack with themselves. XL used to stack? That sounds crazy. Isn't XL like +2 special on everything? You could have just used 10 of them and had +20? Interesting. Well, that's fixed. Contextual ammo, minor pails, and holiday gifts now grant contextual ammo. And that's great because we're going to be collecting some holiday gifts very soon. Legendary mods, burning, electrified, frozen, and toxic legendary armor mods now stack 240 damage total from 5 armor pieces instead of 100 total damage regardless of how many armor pieces have the mod. So now that's interesting because I considered that a while back, like when you are getting like into combat with enemies and you have these additional things. If you had different armor mods and you couldn't get all the same one, I'm thinking this is actually a pretty significant damage buff because you could just have a few of them. I personally have not taken advantage of this. I would have to see what that looks like, but maybe a combination of burning and frozen, I don't know. Curious to see what that would look like. More on legendary mods, fix an issue with the 40% power attack damage not correctly dealing damage. I have no idea. When it comes to power attack damage, I've been looking for that roll on chainsaws and not the red upper, what is it called? The auto axe. And ironically, I don't think I have many of those rolls, and I know people were looking for that. So if it was not correctly dealing damage, would that mean they're actually more powerful now? Or were they doing too much damage and now they've been nerfed? I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. Luckily enough, not really impacting me. If this is gonna impact you, let me know. Mods. Power Armor Medic Pump mod now works with diluted and super stims. So if you are a Power Armor user using that mod, there you go. For the world, fix 2 resource veins in the Burning Mine location that could not be interacted with. In terms of quests, we have Safe and Sound and Seismic Activity, both having some issues fixed. For Safe and Sound, fix an issue that could cause the event to get stuck at the Repair the Circuit Breaker stage. Luckily enough, I've never had that happen. Curious to know what was causing that. Fix an issue where the Ultrasight tank can become invulnerable after destroying all the crystals during seismic activity. I think we've had that happen a couple times, but not too frequent. Great that they're smoothing that out. Hopefully they could, fix seismic activity so people aren't crashing out as much. I do know there's a few people in the community that every once in a while experience some crashes, and that's kind of, it's interesting because it's both on new gen and old gen consoles, so we'll see. As long as they keep fixing, adding some updates to smooth things out, we're heading the right direction. So we're on the last portion right here, the systems. There's a few different things. I will go through them, and there's a few that I do feel are going to impact us, even if we know it or not. Animation added behavior updates that allow players to self-stim while using a wind-up weapon that is charging down. I guess for the Gatling plasmas, things like that. AP, entering and being in VATS, no longer drains power armor fusion cores. These actions still use AP, so for your power armor users, there you go. Cooking, Headhunter's Head Cheese, no idea what that is, will no longer fail when trying to craft it. Interesting. I've never even heard of that until now, but apparently you couldn't always successfully make it. Deathclaw eggs, oh no. Deathclaw eggs now correctly spoil into spoiled meat. I definitely had a handful of Deathclaw eggs in my stash for just like a random challenge. What is it, is it Deathclaw Wellington? I forget what else you might need those for, but alright, well, if I have spoiled meat in my stash, I know where that came from. Legendary mods fix an issue where some legendary mods wouldn't appear in the legendary items acquired from some ally quests. Interesting. I know that a while back people said that if you do the ally quests, that's the only way in the game for you to get, I believe, I don't know if they fixed it, but legendary, like, what are they called? Oh my god, it's been so long. They've been removed from the game. Legacies? Supposedly you could get legacy combos. I don't know if that's still a thing, but it's saying that some legendary mods wouldn't appear in the legendary items. So part of me feels like maybe there's a clash where it's like giving you a role that you shouldn't have on a weapon, so instead of giving it to you, it doesn't. I don't know. We're going to have to find that out. Modifications fix an issue that caused the combat rifles 38 precise receiver to not have its aim speed and sighted accuracy bonus. Well, considering the combat rifle is not a fixer, and a lot of people are using those both early game, mid game, end game, yeah, it would make sense that you want something that's probably used pretty commonly compared to other weapons to have that working. There's a few other modifications that they talk about for the Ultra Sight, laser gun, the black powder rifle, missile launcher. If any of those interest you, definitely get caught up on these. For the last few, we got perks, photo mode, and resistances. For perks, fix some cases where turret-mounted laser weapons weren't triggering the electric absorption perk. For the berry mentats over here, highlight effect now extends with Chem Fiend. So if I remember correctly, Chem Fiend allows you to double the length of your chems that you're using if you have it max rank, something like that. So the way I'm interpreting this is you would still get the full double bonus of the intelligence on berry mentats, but you probably weren't seeing where enemies were popping up. Now that I think of it, there's a lot of rad rumbles where I was wondering why I don't see certain enemies through walls after like a couple minutes, and I was pretty sure I still had berry mentats. That makes sense. Then perks fix an issue where Grim Reaper Sprint would not trigger correctly with explosive weapons. So I don't know if that means it wasn't popping up enough, if it was popping up too much. Why specifically explosive weapons? No idea. Photo mode file names now include milliseconds. So I guess if you're just screenshotting over and over and over within the same minute, I have no idea. It's not even seconds, it's milliseconds. And then resistances, our last one. Free states resistance headwear should now grant airborne damage and disease protection. And after all that, you have your Season 15, your Atlantic City update, your patch notes. I do hope you guys found that informative. Here in a second, I'm going to jump into Appalachia. I'm going to go to my camp. I'm going to claim the new weather station. So if you want to see what that looks like, definitely keep an eye out. Like I mentioned, I will have the patch notes in the description, so if there's anything that I glanced over that you want to find out more about, besides pausing the video or anything like that, feel free to go check that out. I would say if you're on Xbox and you want to join us throughout the week, definitely come through, check out what we got going on. And then in terms of our streams, our adventures throughout the week, we are hanging out on Twitch. All that goodness will be in the description, so definitely come through. And if you made it up until this point of the video, thank you a ton. If you found this informative, if you're looking to find out more about patch notes, legendary crafting, seasonal score claims, and much more with 76 content and other goodies, definitely consider subscribing, keep an eye out for more content, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for hanging out and sticking until this part of the video. What we're going to do for this part of the video is go into the Atomic Shop. Earlier in the patch notes, we were talking about the weather stations. You have the clear one that is free in the shop. You have the 1200 atom ones for the snow. And you're also receiving one from the Season 15 Scoreboard. What I'm going to do real quick is claim these and purchase this one. I'll come back to the atom shop later. There is some other goodies that you're definitely not going to want to miss out on. Some seasonal goodies. And then you also have the high stake shelter, which I'm definitely eyeing. But for this video, let's jump back into my camp. As we're looking at my holiday camp, I have my two kind of snowblower machines, but what we're going to do is we're going to replace this. We're going to see what this camp's going to look like with our new weather station, but we're going to be using the snow one. Let's put it over here. Keep it kind of festive, keep it like it belongs with whatever we got going on. We're going to turn on the power, and then we're just going to sit back and let it do its thing. I do wish it was a little bit more instantaneous, but I get it. I guess the weather system's got to take into effect, got to start slowly rendering piece by piece so it's not overwhelming the system. At least that's what I'm guessing. But I would definitely say that my Christmas camp, I love the flare. We got that seasonal flare going on with the snow. I really wish that it would turn the ground to like snow and white. I don't know if maybe that's something that they can do in the future. But definitely wanted to give a quick look at how you can transform your camp now with the weather systems. And then I'm curious to see what it would look like. If you're in the mire and you do the clear weather system, maybe that'll have a different impact and actually expose more of the environment. We'll have to test that out in a future one. But again, thank you guys for hanging out, checking out the patch notes. I do hope you guys found it informative. If you are looking to claim something like the clear station or purchase the snow station, yeah, definitely get on that while you can. And even the snow station, I don't think it was supposed to be in the game until next year. I think they had mentioned in one of their posts. So we got a Christmas miracle. Santa came early. We got snow at the camps. If you want to see more of what I got going on here, definitely swing by the stream. Give you a little tour. We're on Xbox if you want to join us. If not, I'll leave the Twitch information down below. But thank you guys for checking this out, and I will catch you in the next one.